Today we are going to be formulating a very thick cream that can also be used as base cream, and you can add other ingredients later on. All right, so this we are just keeping it simple. You can use any type of ingredients, you can substitute any ingredients you like. So I just want to show you the things we need first. First of all, this place was sterilized with ethanol. This is mixed with water to dilute it. After doing that, clean all tools. Everything has been done. Of course, you need your scale, which is very important, and you need your pH strip if you don't have pH meter. I have pH meter, but for educational purpose, I'm going to use pH strip because I'm sure that's the one you will have. Then list of ingredients. We're going to be using I'll call the faces separately. For the water phase, distilled water we are using. Okay, the nice water is okay too, but don't use your tap water for anything cosmetics. Then we'll need glycerin. That's for the water phase. Also, I'm going to be including gum. The gum helps in stabilizing the cream. Okay, this is xanthan gum. You can use any other type of gum. And we're going to be mixing the gum with the glycerin before we add it to the water, because if you just add the xanthan gum straight into the water, it's going to form fishy eye. That is why it's usually mixed with glycerin, but there are some that come pre-mixed. It's not really common like that, and it's more expensive, and there are other types of gum, but xanthan gum is one of the easiest gum to get and one of the cheapest. Okay, then we'll go to our oil phase, which is we are using emulsifying wax NF. You can use any other type of wax, any other type you can use, but we are using this right now. All right, and then we are going to add this anionic emulsifier. Is used as thickener. This is stearic acid. We're going to be using that too. Okay, so we'll use sunflower oil or any other type of oil you have. You can use olive oil, you can use coconut oil. It's for the body, so yeah, you can use jojoba oil, grapeseed oil, any other type of oil. We're also going to be using shea butter. So that is all for the oil phase. Meanwhile, you can also combine more than 2 wax for your emulsion. You can use emulsifying wax with BTMS. You can use glycerin stearate. You can use any other type. Also, the stearic acid, you can swap it with cetyl alcohol. You can use cetyl alcohol. Cetyl alcohol, the consistency is going to be different, of course, but we want it thick, very thick. That's why we are using stearic acid. Now, the cool down phase, you need your liquid Derma Plus, which is the easiest and I think the cheapest preservative you can use, you can get. That's why we are using that. You can also use any other type of preservative. Use GeoGuard, any other type. It doesn't matter which type. I just make sure that the preservative you are using, the pH is okay with what you are formulating. Okay, so and then we'll need pH adjuster, citric acid if we are going to reduce the pH, and then if we are going to increase it, we need sodium hydroxide if we are going to increase the pH, or potassium hydroxide, or arginine, or triethylamine, NaOT. You can use any of that to increase the pH. Some people do use baking soda to increase the pH of their products, but for selling purpose, I don't advise baking soda. Okay, so baking soda is for like DIY and co. So let's get to formulating. The first thing we do is to measure all ingredients in different bakers. I'm going to be measuring the water phase first. The tools I'm going to be using is, I can use my spatula, I can use my whisk, because it's just 100 grams. You don't really need immersion blender for this. Okay, so the distilled water, make sure when you place your beaker on your scale, it will reach the weight of the beaker. So your own is to tar the beaker. On the scale you see TARE, it means tar. It means it takes it back to 0.00. okay, if you are just starting or you are not making large formulation, you only need about this kind of scale. It's called precision scale or jewelry scale. Okay, before you measure any other ingredients again, you have to tar your scale again. But I'm going to set this aside so I can weigh the glycerin and the gum before mixing it, before adding it to my water phase. I will measure my glycerin first. Always remember to tar your scale before you weigh in another ingredient. You don't need much of gum when you are doing emulsion. When you are formulating gel moisture and gel products, then you will need more gum than you need in emulsion. And different gum give you different consistency. With xanthan gum, you can use lower percentage. With other gum, you will have to increase the percentage. Now I can mix both of them together and add it to my water phase. Make sure they are well mixed together. Instead of adding this gum straight to the water phase before you preheat it, you can also heat, then you add the gum. So you can test both of them, whichever one you feel. The gum can withstand heat. So I'm going to be adding it into the gum, into the water. We don't want to lose any of the gum, which is why I'm going to be pouring the water here and take out all the gum. So as you put it on heat, it's going to thicken up more. If you can see the water, it has thickened up and is well mixed. There is no fishy eye. So before I put this on heat, I'm going to weigh it. I'm going to weigh it and then write it down. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. That way, when I come back and any water, I'll weigh it again before adding the oil phase. I can still add the water. So I'm done with the water phase. I'm going to cover it with foil. So this is how when you even have this, sometimes what we reduce is going to be very little. I'm going to place this on heat now and be right back. Now my oil phase. So the first thing to do, I'm going to weigh my emulsifying wax NF. Oh, I wasn't saying the percentage I was using for for the ingredients, sorry about that. So for the distilled water, I use 68%. The glycerin, I use 5%. Xanthan gum, I use 0.5%. If this is not going to be used as the base cream, if you are just going to be using it straight on your skin, then you can keep the xanthan gum at 0.3%. But because this is going to be used as base cream, that's why I'm using it as 0.5%. Because once it gets into the cream, once you add another cream, add another ingredient, of course, it's no longer going to be 0.5% in that cream again. Now for my emulsifying wax, I'm going to be weighing 7 grams. The gram is because I'm making 100 grams worth of cream. That's why the percentage and the gram are the same. So which means if I'm going to be making 200 grams, I'm going to be multiplying that by 2. If I'm making 250 grams, I'm going to be multiplying it by 2.5. If I'm making 15 grams, which is 1.5 kg, I'm going to be multiplying it by 10.5. It's time to weigh the stearic acid, which is 5 grams. I'll tap my scale again. 5 grams. That's exactly. It's time to weigh the butter and the oil. You can use just one type of butter, and you can also use more than one. It is your choice. I'm not yet tied it. Okay, don't forget to tie it. There's 8 grams for the butter. I need 6 grams of the oil. So this stew is going on heat right now. Let it go and join the water phase. Before I forget, I weighed this extra water. I'm going to also preheat it. Why am I doing this? This is because by the time I finish heating the water phase and I wait before I add my oil phase, if the water reduces, I'm going to add more water. Okay, so that my 100% will always be my 100%. The water phase will not have reduced, you know, because if the water reduces and you emulsify, then it is no longer 100%, and this can destabilize your emulsion. That is going on heat now. All right, so I'm back. I'm going to weigh this again. Going to weigh it again. Switch on the beaker, switch on your scale. Put this 177.90. So it has reduced a little, you see, but not that much. So I'll check my record, then yeah. So it's balanced. Now it's time for me to whisk in the oil phase. You can use this to mix in the oil, or you use whisk, or you use a spatula, or whatever you have. See how thick, I don't know if you can see it, how thick it is. But with 0.3% of xanthan gum, it won't be this thick. Now I'm going to be using this. I don't know if you can see the emulsion taking place. You continue like that. So I'm going to, this is not slapper. Let's use this. When you are using spatula, why I changed this to this, When you are using spatula or whisk to emulsify, use it around the beaker. Don't do it if it's food, you do it in the middle, but for this, do it around the beaker so that it will not trap air. Bubbles will not enter whatever you are doing. I want it to emulsify very well while it's still hot, while the heat is still there. So you can emulsify for like 1 to 3 minutes before you stop. As it's cooling down, you'll still be mixing. If it's a large batch, when you want to emulsify, you use homogenizer, but as it's to cool down, you use overhead stirrer. That's if it's strong enough. So that's the difference between big batch and small batch. So, can you see it? Can you see it? Because of the gum. Because why it's thick at the beginning like this, while it's still hot, is because of the gum and the percentage of the wax and the thickener. Meanwhile, if you are not going to be using it as base cream, you are going to be using it straight away, just like that. You are not going to be mixing any other ingredients with it after formulating this. Then you can reduce the percentage of the xanthan gum, emulsifying wax, and the stearic acid. Hope you know the difference. Now I'm telling you this. So for the other ingredients, as I'm mixing, I'll be telling you about other ingredients. You can still include more ingredients into your cream, such as extracts, chelator, gelatin agents, essential oil, fragrance, so many things, peptide, any active that you have, you can include it. But once you include those ones, it means you will need to reduce the percentage of the other ingredients in the formulation, in the formula. If you are adding let's say licorice liquid extract into your cream, then that one will go to your cool down phase. Why is that? Because the extract cannot withstand heat. Anything that cannot withstand heat goes to cool down phase. But if it can withstand heat, then it goes to your water phase or your hot your oil phase. If it's oil soluble, if it's water soluble, you put it in your water phase and then you heat it, same as usual. But if it cannot withstand heat, then you go take it to your cool down phase. So I'm mixing again. As I was saying, if you include like extracts at 1%, then you have to deduct that 1% from like your distilled water, which is 68%. Then that means if you reduce that's 68 minus 1, which will be 67%. Now, in order to fasten this, I'm going to be putting it inside water. Same way we use heat to make it hot, I'm going to use cool water or cold water or ice bath water to cool it down very fast, and then continue to mix. You can see how easy it is to make cream. At this junction, if you have not followed us, please do so that whenever we upload any products, any formula, you will know, you'll be notified. Please like, share, watch till the end. And then when it has cooled down, you've added your cool down phase, then you check your pH at that time. Make sure to always check the pH of your product once it contains water. unless you are formulating water in oil emulsion, then you don't really need to check the pH. But this is what we formulated here, is oil in water emulsion. That is, the water is surrounding the oil. I'm going to check the temperature of this. This 45.1, it means we are not ready. It is not ready for the cool down phase. To add the cool down phase, the temperature has to be from 40 degrees centigrade or downward. There are still some ingredients that can not take heat, but at the same time they can still take heat of 50 degrees centigrade and below. Such ingredient, you can still add it at this stage. We are adding active. Some active can take heat, very high heat. Now when you are dissolving, when you put on heat, there are some ingredients that will melt at 60 degrees centigrade, some that will take up to 75 degrees centigrade. Like yours, if you, let's say you're adding ingredients such as Sepu White, MSH, that one needs more 75 degree upward, 8 to 80 degree centigrade before it will totally dissolve. Such ingredients, we need more heat. You can reduce and increase the temperature. Just make sure that the temperature you are using is very low. Check the temperature again. This 40.7, so we're almost getting there. Why is very fast now is because I put it on in water bath. Hope you've been able to learn something. Please like, follow, share. We're on IG as Josibel Cosmetics Academy. We also teach in our academy. We teach you how to formulate different kind of products, how to start your brand. We also write formulas. We do product development. If you want to do private label, we also do that. Like, we'll produce this product for you. When you produce this, then you package it yourself, or you send your packaging, your jars, your bottles, and we'll do everything for you. Or we can help you source for these jars and containers and everything. We help you with product label, get you printers that can help you do that. You pay for that. We'll formulate, package it for you, do everything for you, source everything for you, then send it to you. All you have to do is to sell. So I'm going to check the temperature again. Now it is very thick, very thick. That's very thick base cream. So with this base cream, it can take anything, any other ingredients. 39.2. Now it's time to add the cool down phase. I will add my 0.5% of my liquid Jama Plus. Don't forget, the preservative you use determine on the percentage you'll be using. There are some preservative that you need to use up to 1%. But for liquid Jama Plus, 0.5% is okay. Now that I've added my liquid Jama Plus, I can mix it. Then check the pH of this product. So you see how easy it is. You don't need to purchase large equipment or big equipment if you don't have the resources to do so. I did not use immersion blender to make this. So for your own practical, for your samples, now I can include color if I want color, but I don't need color. I want to see it white like this. Yeah. So imagine making this and giving to your friends. What they will say about it, ooh, they'll just be praising you until you'll be feeling cool about yourself. If you get to make this, kindly share. It's time for me to check the pH. I'll take little quantity, add it into water, and then mix it and check the pH. Some people check pH straight away. You can do that. Some people say it's good to mix with water first, but some people say it's not good. For me, if I have thick products such as this, I'll mix it with water first. But if it's liquid products such as toner, serum that is not thick, then I won't mix it with water first before I check the pH. Checking the pH. pH strip is not, how do I say it? It's not consistent, it's not reliable. That's why we use pH meter. From what I can see here, this is like 7 or so. It's around 6, this 7, so it's very high. So we have to reduce the pH of this. And how do we reduce the pH? We use citric acid or lactic acid. Just little quantity, please. If you are making a large batch, that's when you can use more lactic acid or glycolic acid or citric acid. But since it's just small batch, then you need just little. Then again, let me tell you something. Whenever I'm formulating and I adjust pH, I usually like to weigh, like if it's in large batch and I'm adjusting the pH for the first time, I'll weigh the pH adjuster, the pH adjusting ingredients, which is lactic acid at this time. I'll weigh so that next time when I want to formulate that, I would have included it in my formula. You get, that's enough for now. I will check it, mix it, check it first. This is 0.35 that I added. So next time I'll include it in the formula, and before you know it, I might not need to adjust any pH again whenever I'm formulating that particular product. It makes work easier for you, like every time, because it's easier to adjust the pH of small batch like this. But when it comes to large batch, you will sit down there, especially when you're not sure of how many grams you need. It will take long unless you know how to use your eyes. Just like in cooking, some people are so good at using their eyes to grade or to check what the ingredients that pour in. They can use their eyes. It's very easy for them. But for me, I like doing it this way to be sure I'm not just doing anyhow. So this is it. I've mixed it in. I'm going to check the pH again. If it's pH meter, okay, I'm using distilled water to do this. Any other water is not allowed. Distilled water for cosmetics, I beg. So mix it in again. When I settle down, I'll go take my journal, write everything that I did today, write it down, so that next time I will remember the consistency, the scent, as in so many things, what I use in adjusting it, how I arrived at what I arrived at, I will not, if there's any mistake, I will know where it came from, and if there's no mistake, I know what I did right. So that's what cosmetics is all about. With this, I think it's between 5 and 6. We still need to, there's no active in it, so I need the pH to be around 4 to 5. You get, so I'm still going to reduce the pH again. So same lactic acid, I'll weigh it in. This time around, it will not, I have 0.16, and this is 100-gram formula. Yeah, I think it has reduced a little bit now. It's around 5, almost close to 4. So we're leaving it at that. We are done formulating these products. Now I'm going to, before you go, I still want to show you something. This cream, I'm going to be using 10% lactic acid to show you how stable it is, like 2 separate. Dividing it out of it. Like, if you have, what I'm trying to say is, if you want to, this, as I said, this is base cream. If you are adding any other additional ingredients, take your base cream and you weigh in the other ingredients you want to use. So I'm using half of it for this formula. You know why I'm using lactic acid is because lactic acid separates your formula faster than any other ingredients. It separates it faster. That's why when you are using acids, you increase the polymer in your formula. And what are polymers? Polymers are like all this gum that I told you about, xanthan gum. The percentage of gum you will use in your formula will be different from when you are not using acids in your formula, because it will separate. We're using 90% of that and 10% of the acid. See how thick the cream is. Mix it in very well. These acids exfoliate the skin. Okay, the 10% lactic acid exfoliates the skin. Please don't use it every day. You can use it 1 to 3 times in a week instead of the physical exfoliation that you do. This is good. It will exfoliate. You can also use glycolic acid and use it in the night and wear sunscreen during the day. If for people that want to lighten, this will also help your cream. So if you want to be using it daily, then reduce the percentage of the acids. You can reduce it to 1 to 2% of your formula. Then you can use that daily. So you see, 10% additional ingredients, and I have this. That's your base cream and acid. Don't forget to like, share, follow, subscribe. All right, bye.